coverage you can count on. This is the KFOX 14 Morning News.
She's not an educator. She's not part of the club.
Local reaction to Betsy DeVos, President Trump's nominee for Secretary of Education. House Senate Democrats are fighting to block her vote. Plus, a wild ride for a man local police say drove at speeds topping over 100 miles an hour. In 30 minutes, how they finally caught up with him, and it took a while to catch him 100 miles.
Yeah. Thought he was Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, right? If you ain't first, you're last.
That's dangerous, though.
Well, if you've been drinking, your judgment probably goes in a situation.
Probably.
It is 6:59. Good morning to you. I'm John Purvis.
And I'm Kajal Dashi. It's Tuesday, February 7th. Let's take a look at our weather with meteorologist Brad Montgomery, and it's a gorgeous week out here for us.
Yeah, we're seeing some winds, not quite as fast as that guy was driving, though. A live look outside, 49 Rudolph cars. However, we had some gusts over 50 miles an hour last night. Wind advisory till 9 a.m. this morning, east-northeast El Paso, as well as White Sands, 55 at the airport. Now winds down to west at about 17 miles an hour, 47 for Las Cruces. Your winds west at 22. Area-wide winds west 20 to 30 this afternoon, about 71 El Paso. Windy in Las Cruces as well, high around at 68. Candlelight?
Well, yeah, it's a good thing, Brad. 100-mile-per-hour winds would not be good. It's 7 o'clock now as we check in with the traffic tracker, and right now he is here along the lower valley area, and we're not seeing heavy delays there this morning. Going to keep you up to date. What we're going to take a look at is West El Paso. We're just now beginning to see that congestion build up on the interstate at Sunland Park, as you can see here this morning. Right now, really busy. One of the only roadways that I'm starting to see this traffic kind of build. So prepare to give yourself some extra time. Coming up, I'll remind you about the afternoon closures you'll see here in the area with the Go 10 project, along with the continuing overnight roadwork we'll also see here as you get ready for the rest of the week. Kajal and John?
Closing arguments are scheduled today in the capital murder trial of Antonio Lopez. He's accused of stomping to death an 11-month-old foster child in his care. Both prosecutors and defense attorneys called their final witnesses yesterday. Lopez's attorneys suggested another foster child in the home at the time could have been responsible for killing Jayla Beckley. They say they were planning to call that foster child as a witness, but decided against it at the last minute. A previous trial for Lopez ended in a hung jury. Closing arguments are set to start at 8 this morning. The seventh and final suspect indicted in a bank fraud scheme is granted bond. A federal judge set Terrence Yelder's bond at $35,000. As KFOX 14 has reported, the former NMSU football player and his fiancée, former UTEP basketball player Jenzal Nash, are among the 7 defendants a federal grand jury indicted last month. They're accused of falsifying financial information to get $237,000 in loans.
Happening today, El Paso City Council will discuss a proposed transnational monorail transit system. KFOX 14 Morning News reporter Marcel Clark explains how it could ease congestion in downtown El Paso.
El Paso keeps on growing, but that could add to other problems like traffic. That's why today's City Council will see how one proposed transportation project could help with that. This is how it would look like. It's a monorail system that is already seen in other big cities in the U.S., and it will aim to provide service to both El Paso and Juarez residents. In the agenda item, the stations are proposed at the core of both central business districts as a way to help with travelers, workers, and shoppers traveling to both areas, and also help out with daily congestion at the International Bridge. One person we spoke to overnight says he is all for it, but after El Paso finishes the other projects.
I have a lot of friends in Juarez and in El Paso, so like if they did connect that, it would be a quicker way to get to Juarez. So I think that's always good. It's faster, so like I don't know, in the mornings or whenever, it's just quicker.
City Council will also discuss funding for this proposed project, and they will meet today at 8 o'clock this morning. Of course, we're going to be there to give you those updates online on KFOXTV.com and throughout our later newscasts. Reporting in West El Paso, Marcel Clark, the KFOX 14 Morning News.
El Paso County commissioners are making way for improvements at Escarate Lake. Commissioners are trying to fight the ongoing algae problem that's killed countless fish for decades. Commissioners were presented with 2 solutions by a group of UTEP students who studied the lake. One would be cost-effective water filters to clear up surface algae. The other would be plants to limit the amount of toxins in the water that killed the fish in the past.
The algae varies per region. What we've noticed is that the largest factor affecting the toxicity of algae is temperature. So we propose to manipulate the dissolved oxygen content and the nutrients to try to limit that algae.
Commissioner David Stout said these solutions could come to the lake as early as September. Outspoken critics at the downtown arena's proposed location are being replaced on their board. The County Historical Commission is at the center of an ethics investigation over an email vote that was taken without the public's knowledge. El Paso County commissioners didn't name the two most visible members of the board for reappointment. The original board had 21 members until about a day ago. County commissioners voted unanimously on 25 members for the new board. But Chairman Bernie Sargent and Vice Chairman Max Grossman weren't included. County commissioners say the ethics investigation played a role, but the former leaders tell KFOX 14 they think there are deeper reasons behind the vote.
We were dismissed for other reasons, and probably these reasons have a lot to do with our outspokenness, our advocacy, and our positions on issues of the day. And I'll leave that to the public to speculate, but I think that we all know what this is about.
Both Grossman and Sargent say they'll still have to deal with the ethics investigation, even though they're no longer on the board. Senate Democrats are trying to block President Trump's nominee, Betsy DeVos, from becoming our next Secretary of Education.
All 48 Democratic senators and 2 Republicans plan to vote against DeVos, which would create a 50-50 tie in the Senate. If that happens, Vice President Mike Pence would have to cast a tie-breaking vote to confirm DeVos as Education Secretary. One UTEP professor says a key reason for the opposition to DeVos is the belief she's not qualified for the job.
She's not an educator. She's not part of the club. Would you go to a dentist who didn't really know the difference between, the different teeth in your mouth?
Senate Democrats began an all-nighter last night as part of a 24-hour blitz to try and block DeVos. The Senate is expected to vote on her nomination later today.
Thanks, John. And with that, this morning, the hashtag Hold the Floor continues to trend. That's showing us that the party on that Senate chamber floor is doing everything it can to block Betsy DeVos from becoming the next education secretary. Now, rather than trying to block the vote, the all-night debate tactic targets those Republicans that Democrat senators believe may change their minds and vote against party lines.
I understand the pull of party loyalty. I understand deference to a new president. But from what we have seen in the first 2 weeks of this administration, party loyalty is demanding too much of my Republican colleagues.
And this reporter right here tweeting Senate Democrats stage all-night protest against Betsy DeVos, and he shares a video of Elizabeth Warren. We have that here.
It is difficult to imagine a worse choice to head the Department of Education.
And also a tweet from California Senator Kamala Harris is capturing a lot of attention online.
It is clear from her testimony, Betsy DeVos has not done her homework. And she hasn't done her homework in terms of preparing for the job.
Harris there has only been in office for about a month, but she's already known that is for her lively presence on Twitter. Of course, we'll keep you posted with the latest information on this Betsy DeVos confirmation hearing. We do have a look right now as well at what's happening on the Senate chamber floor and giving you a look. This continues to go on, this discussion against Betsy DeVos as the next education secretary. It's been a dramatic 24-hour talkathon, and more than likely she will be confirmed today. But note that she's not going to go out of the headlines. The 2 largest teachers unions in the nation are very outspoken against her, and with these confirmation hearings, we've seen that she's been badly damaged politically. So we'll continue to probably hear more after today.
The battle over President Trump's travel ban could soon reach the U.S. Supreme Court. In the last 24 hours, the U.S. Justice Department filed a new defense of the travel ban with the San Francisco Federal Appeals Court, saying it falls within the president's authority to protect national security. Today, 3 federal judges will hear arguments challenging the order, and no matter what they decide, the next stop will likely be our nation's highest court.
Students at one local high school are fighting to keep their principal. What he had to say about his job at Bowie High and why he's being reassigned.
There's backlash against a proposed new law in Hawaii. Learn why one state lawmaker says he wants to create urine-free zones. Brad?
And still see some breezy to windy conditions, parts of east to northeast El Paso. Lighter winds on the west side, 49 Rudolph Chevrolet, partly cloudy skies across the region. Talking about when the windy weather will die down. KFOX 14 Morning News, its coverage